There's something that you are unaware of, beautiful woman of mine.
What is that?
We have 2 new subscribers to our podcast channel on YouTube.
I was not aware.
I think that brings us up to a grand total of 160 subscribers to the YouTube channel.
That's just YouTube.
Well, it's pretty amazing.
Good.
Yeah. I think that officially makes us YouTubers.
Are we? Oh, damn.
Yep.
Excuse me. I've got to update my Insta.
You do. You are a influencer on YouTube. You're a YouTube influencer.
Ooh. Okay, hold on. I don't want to forget that. I got to update it right now.
Yeah, write that down. If you are listening and this is the very first episode that you have ever heard of the Energy is Love podcast, you can go subscribe to us on YouTube. You can also find us anywhere that you find podcasts. YouTube just happens to be one of the places that we are available 24/7. You can reach us 24/7, any time of day, 7 days a week. You can find us on YouTube, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, Google Music podcast thingy, a whole bunch of other ones.
Spotify.
I think I said Spotify. Pandora.
Okay.
I like the idea of being on Pandora.
Castbox. Are we on Castbox?
Uh-huh.
Castbox?
Mm-hmm.
What about Podcast Addict?
Yes.
There, I contributed. .com.
.com. Also go to our website, energyislovepodcast.com.
.com.
This episode is brought to you by, I had something funny this morning.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you write it down?
I didn't. I was going to say something silly, but I forget. This episode is not brought to you by this next thing that we're going to mention, but it should be. I just got back recently from a weekend in Joshua Tree with Everyman. They had a huge open source event there with 60 plus guys, and I was one of the lucky few who got to show up and be one of the facilitators. It was a wonderful weekend. I had a great time. That's why my voice sounds like it is, because I was yelling, not like at people, but just expressing emotion very loudly. But I want to shout out to all the men that were there, as well as the 6 guys that sat down in my small group. It was an amazing weekend for me. I had such a beautiful experience. And you've heard me talk about Everyman a great deal on this podcast. If you go to their website, it's everyman.com, everyman.com. You can find more information about that organization. You can find information about their upcoming events that they have. They've got quite a few coming up in the next few months. You can also find out about groups. That is one of the most impactful things in my life, is the men's group that we have here in Salt Lake City that meets each and every week. But go to their website, check it out, and yeah, go do that. Right, babe?
Right. I'm not.
She's not blowing her nose in the
not.
middle of this intro.
I was doing it super quiet, and you had to talk to me right then.
You did great, babe.
I was.
So on to the episode. Do you know what we are going to talk about?
I'm guessing it's going to be about Everyman and Joshua Tree.
We might, a little bit.
Yeah.
Anything else? You have a list.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were like, do you know what I want to talk about? I do not, if it's not Everyman.
Oh, by the way.
I do have some things. What?
This is my birthday. When
this comes out. I'm
Happy
like,
birthday.
no, it's fucking not. Oh.
Well, this is going to be a fun episode, folks.
My uterus just fell out. We're fine.
Oh, good Lord. Stay tuned, because here we go.
You're listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is the Love podcast.
The Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is Love podcast.
The podcast for the universe.
The Energy is Love podcast.
This past weekend, I don't remember who it was, but somebody mentioned to me that I have like my voice was ready for a podcast, because I have a good podcasting voice with all my gravelly, scratchy, throat been worn out sounding voice.
Did you let them know, or did you just like, oh, that's cool?
I'm like, yeah, I would sound good on a podcast right about now.
Oh, that's awesome. I hope they tell other people that so they can be like, did you know?
Good afternoon, beautiful woman of mine.
Good afternoon, handsome man of mine.
We're trying something different today for this recording session.
Is it the ball? Are you going to talk about the ball that I'm wiggling my hips on?
Steph is bouncing on one of them exercise balls
so nice.
for a change. We should take a picture of you.
Right now?
snap picture taken.
It's been fun.
Has
It's
it?
been fun. I like it. I have to remember to stay up because I can move. So I'm sitting here doing like pelvic rocks. That sounds
There you go.
naughty, but
Baby,
it's,
rock that
I'm
pelvis.
rocking it, but it's nice. My body's not going to hurt when we're done podcasting. I'm going to stand up and be limber. I'll wait for you to finish.
I was looking at my list of notes,
Oh, you want to start with your list?
my notes for the podcast. I don't actually.
You don't actually?
I want to hear what you have to say. We're going to get right to it.
Going to get right to it?
Sometimes I think that we spend like 15, 20 minutes of
Sometimes we do.
some silliness and nonsense of lightheartedness. And I don't know if that's us needing to like settle into recording or what do you want to take that off?
I did. I just didn't want to like mess with make noise.
Well,
Keep going.
your silliness. Way to not be distracting.
I was being creative.
Yes.
I was problem solving.
Yeah, but we're going to dive right in.
Okay.
We're just going straight to it.
All right.
So let's have it, babe.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Well, one of the things that I do, and I'm going to try not to, is when I do have a list, because every once in a while I will have a list. I just like
Check
want
it twice.
I like to find out who's naughty or nice. Guess what group I'm leaning towards. But I just feel like, okay, I got a list. Like everything has to be hit right then. It's like I don't even hit the topics. It's like this. Okay, there's my part. I'm done.
There's so many times where I'll write down something that I want to talk about. And it like right now on my notes list, there's stuff from like 6 months ago or something.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
so opposite of me. You let it sit. And I feel like I need to just like, feel like I don't,
You got to get it all out at once.
well, yeah. First of all, it's hard for me to have anything to talk about. And so if I come up with something, then I just have to like really fast all out. It doesn't that way look at like my first thing, and I'll just read it because otherwise it'll take me 5 years. Something actually, I'm now scared.
You're so cute.
I was after our last podcast, our last recording, we talked before about what happens after we hit stop, and how things come up and oh my gosh.
Yeah, a while back did we? I don't know if we talked about that on the podcast or
I
if
thought
that
we
was
did.
something that you and I just commented on. Sometimes we
I think
push.
it was both.
Yeah, we'll push pause, or not pause, but we'll end an episode. We'll push stop, and then we'll go on to have another hour-long conversation that's super good.
Yeah, because that's what for me, I get, and I'm going to talk about it, but having conversations, like sometimes I don't forget that the mic's there. You know, I say shit that you can't unhear. So sorry about that, everybody. But for the most part, I remember that the mic's there. So I'm not able to really open up until it's just you and me. Is this going to drive you crazy? Because I feel like I feel like I just found a fidget spinner for my ass.
Baby,
like I cannot hold still.
I am incredibly happy that you just found a fidget spinner for your ass. That can take up the next 45 minutes of this episode where we talk about, tell me more about this thing you like sitting on.
I've
and
already,
spinning.
I think I have an idea for a sex toy. So I'm not going to say it on here because I'm pretty sure it's a good idea. So I'm just going to let it go for now. But
I'm sure that sex toy has already been mass produced.
well, why has that not come across my Instagram ads?
Well,
like I've seen some vibrators come up and one of these has not. I'm going to lean. Oh,
okay, you have
sorry.
permission to lean. I like you on the ball.
I
It's
don't-
cute.
Do you like me on the ball?
Uh-huh.
I won't take that as any kind of metaphoric pun.
No, it's good.
I don't often realize that I say something maybe kind of a little too much until your eyebrows like shoot up. I'm like, ooh, was that too much? Just sometimes I surprise you, and if I surprise you, it might be too much.
I think sometimes you just don't realize how your euphemisms are so on point, even though you're not trying. It's awesome.
I'm an accidental pun. What
You're an accidental euphemism.
accidental euphemism.
Euphemism. Anyways, go to
Okay.
it. Let's hear it, babe.
So, like this, I keep getting emotional. Like it's an emotional time for me.
Yeah.
I am definitely in the thick of
It's
it.
a leap year, that's why.
Maybe. Oh, maybe I'm leaping. I'm in the thick of it. I don't feel like I'm leaping. I feel like I'm in a stuck year. So It's okay though. I don't know if it's okay if I'm just trying to be positive right now. It sucks so bad. But one of the things I keep getting as I'm digging into stuff, first of all, I'm pissed off that I'm not propelling forward, which is what usually happens when you dig into stuff. I'm pissed off that digging into stuff makes me feel like I'm running backwards. And that sucks. Because it's like I thought I was so far ahead. Not like ahead, but like, I guess I thought I was farther than I was, right? So now as I'm doing all this stuff, it's like all of these milestones that I was checking off and thinking that I've made some progress and accomplishments. And it's like, nope, not even. So that sucks. After the last podcast, I cannot hold still. My volume is going to be all over.
You're totally fine. You really aren't bad at all.
This like helps my nervous fidgety thing because I can actually fidget.
Yeah. Move around on that ball,
Yeah.
baby. Just bounce that sweet ass.
So I was thinking about how things are hard for me, how I don't bring a lot to the podcast.
You feel like you don't bring a lot.
Thank you for saying that. Yes, I feel like it's because I hold back so much. I feel like I don't bring a lot. And then I feel like I get too emotional with it. I get very uncomfortable when I can't. There's this gap that happens with me. It's like from what I feel and what I want to communicate and what actually comes out. And it just there's so many gaps in being able to express myself. And then I get frustrated because it's hard to express myself. And then when I know I'm not communicating what I want to communicate and it's coming off wrong, it's really frustrating. It's like, that's not what I'm trying to say. And I know it's not what I'm trying to say, and then I get distracted. I'll get emotional about something and then I can't even like backtrack to get my thoughts more on point. They just become more jumbled. But there's a lot of things that I like and want to talk about, but it's hard. And then I had a realization of what part of it is.
Oh, I'm excited for this realization.
Let's see if I can do it.
You're going to give us a card roll, shuffle, drum roll. There we go.
It freaking sucks. I feel like there's so much that I have to just stay positive, right? Just stay positive. And I'm not in a positive place right now, but it doesn't mean that I'm a negative person. There's so much bullshit. Like, yeah, I understand that perception and the way you perceive things, obviously same thing. And the way you, like, positivity is a thing. Like, if you're negative, it's going to be a negative experience. If you're positive, it's going to be a positive experience. But it can't always be positive. And I feel like there is so much pressure that you have to be positive or you're not really worth hearing, that you can go sit back down go sit at the kids' table till you can go figure it out because you don't really belong over here. And that sucks, right? That sucks. That means like you always feel like a failure. If you're not on top of the world, everything right, you're not riding that high vibes, man, then you're a failure and you don't deserve.
Do you feel that way sometimes?
So that's what I'm feeling like. I don't feel that way sometimes. I kind of feel like that's the perception. Like it's hard to be real. It's like it's hard to accept real. And we've talked about that. We've talked about that recently. But then it has to still, whatever.
Just say it, baby.
It has to still balance out, and it doesn't. It doesn't always. I mean, I guess it does in the end, but sometimes it's going to be heavy negative. Sometimes it's going to be heavy positive. Sometimes it's going to be heavy just funny. But it's hard to... I'm getting off track. This isn't even what
I'm getting lost. You know how I can tell? Because I have no idea what you're saying.
I don't know what I'm saying. I'm also stalling because I'm scared to say what I wrote down.
Yeah,
which is number one on the list.
Everybody is waiting.
Well, now I feel like I build it up. And don't say that because I won't say it. I won't say it.
Okay.
Because now it seems like it's going to be something great and profound. And
well, let me speak to Barb for a moment.
Okay.
Barb, if you're listening, just turn it off right now. Turn it off or fast forward a few minutes until she gets this out, and then you can tune in and listen again.
That's perfect. Why not just go for it now then? My thing was, who the hell am I? So I feel like I don't really... feel like it's hard to fit with you sometimes. This has been your baby, and you decided that you were going to bring me on for the ride. And it has never quite, I've never let it feel, I've never seen it as something that's ours, because it's always been yours. Because it is yours. This is your thing. I am replaceable.
Your name's on it now.
Well, it's also as easy as it was for you to put on is as easy as it is for you to take off. It is replaceable. It is deletable. It is, it is not a permanent fixture. So it's on there, but for now. So I just kind of feel I don't really have a lot to offer. So I get caught up with that, feeling exactly what I wrote. I don't really have anything to offer. So then I'm afraid to offer anything, because I feel like what I bring to it, I'm emotional in the moment. I'm not emotional and profound, premeditated. It's hard. I can be in the moment and have a conversation and offer my insights, but it is really hard to do it with intention. I can do it with feeling, but not with intention. And it feels like this is with intention, and I just can't. I freeze. I get stuck, and it's not just with this, but it's in so many things. If I have to sell myself in a way, I can't. I just can't. I can reach in, I can talk to you, I can connect with you. But if I have to describe I get stuck. I get stuck there. So it's hard, but I've decided I'm going to change that, and that it is what it is. I'm going to talk about whatever. I don't know. I'm just going to, I want to change that. I want to be able to bring whatever it is that is me, whether it's good or bad. I mean, worst case scenario, you take me off the podcast. Maybe the fact that I'm replaceable with that and disposable with that, maybe that's a good thing, because it isn't really I can just show up however I am, and either it works or it doesn't. But my life doesn't depend on whether or not, but
this podcast is totally keeping a roof over our head, baby.
The part that's hard is if I've got used to this, and not in a I need to quit saying I'm sorry. Not in a much better, not in a compliance way, where I haven't just...
You've looked forward to it.
Yes. And so now I like it as the routine.
Yeah.
I like doing this with you. So I would honestly be really sad if I was just too weird for it anymore.
Too weird for this podcast? Have you listened to this podcast?
I'm the weird one, though. If you take me out, then it's not so weird anymore. Oh, my God.
Let's go back to episode 15, and we'll hear who the weird one is.
Who is episode 15? I got to look.
Please don't be somebody that is... If you are episode 15 and you're listening, you're not weird, I promise.
You're so weird.
Baby, you're not weird.
Watch it be me. God, that would be funny.
That would be really funny.
I don't think so. You didn't have me on that fast. Why can I not? Okay, scroll.
Can I speak to what you've
not till I find 15, because I will get distracted. 15 is... Oh, she's not weird. She's actually pretty wonderful. Crystal Doty. She is an author.
She's kind of weird.
She's kind of weird, but I liked her. I remember, what is it? Angels Speaking to the Angels. I have her book.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of her book.
What she wrote at the first, I don't even know what you call it.
The foreword or something?
Yeah, but
the preface.
Something like that. When she wrote on that, just her, what it meant to her and what she was struggling with at that time, it spoke to me. And so I liked it. Now I didn't stick with it. Haven't followed everything that she did. But anyways, I don't think that. I was expecting a wackadoo.
Oh, there's some
talked
wackadoos.
About the wackadoos.
There's some wackadoos on this podcast, that's for sure.
And now I'm distracted. So yeah, go ahead, speak to what I said.
So beautiful woman of mine. I understand completely where you're coming from. I shouldn't say completely, but I can relate to what you're expressing and what you're sharing and what you're saying. I can relate to that, especially just in the context of this podcast.
Yeah.
I remember when I started the podcast. By the way, people who aren't like in our life and living our relationship, so there's not many of you. The reason this podcast is in existence is because Stephanie told me I should do it. I had the idea that stemmed from a friend of mine coming over to the house and hanging out and having him. He was going to start a podcast, and he had me. He interviewed me for his podcast that he was going to be starting, and we got done, and I'm like, God, that was really, really cool. And I started to think about it some more and kind of brainstorm about it. And Stephanie was really the impetus for starting the podcast. She gave me, I shouldn't speak about you, and you, Stephanie, gave me the encouragement as well as the courage to start it and to do it. And all along the way, I doubted it and I questioned it. And I thought, who am I? This is so silly. What the hell am I doing? This is such a waste of time. Who's even listening to this? Do you know what I mean? I've always thought that. And just recently, probably within the last year and a half, it's shifted. And it is because it has grown into what it is today with you and I, where now I do look for, I enjoyed it, right? I've enjoyed it off and on over the years. But now, like you said, I look forward to this time that we get to sit down and do this together. And I look forward to the conversations that you and I have. I also like how uncomfortable it is at times.
Oh, yeah?
Because it challenges us and it pushes us. And it's almost like we have to share a part of us with all of them. And they're not here. They're tuning in after the fact and they're listening. But we have to really be open and vulnerable and raw at times. And they're watching, they're listening. They're observing, they're taking it in, and they're benefiting from it. And I like that, like intellectually, and if we take it from the outside, I think that's a really cool thing. And I like the idea and the concept of it. But in the middle of it, it sucks. In the middle of it, I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk about some of the things that we've talked about. I sure as shit don't want to express some of the things that I've expressed. Yeah. You know, and you and I both have a list of things that we're kind of keeping in our back pocket that's like, yeah, we may or may not talk about that one day on this fucking podcast, because there's still plenty of things that I'm not comfortable sharing with everybody else that's outside of our bedroom door.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
One of the things that I love about what you bring to this podcast, you talked about how you oftentimes you're so emotional and that you're not like really, you feel like you're not speaking from this like smart intellectual place of giving things a lot of thought, and you're just speaking from the present moment emotion that's coming out. Yeah. Hello, that's fucking incredible. That's what people want to do. That's what people strive to do. That's what we should all be doing more of, getting outside of our heads and disconnected from the nonsense of what we're thinking and really tapped into what we're feeling. And you might fumble words from time to time, and you might make up things that aren't real in the sense of words and things like that. But all of that's okay, baby, because you are speaking your raw, vulnerable emotions, and you're doing it in such a way that people are listening and they're benefiting and they're hearing it. And you're actually leading by example of doing that, Steph. So your question that you started off with, the one that you were so hesitant to speak, who the hell am I? Ooh, I got a big list of who the hell you are, baby.
Well, thank you.
Was it who the hell or what am I? God, I fucked it up now.
No, I think it was who the hell am I?
Or was it what the hell am I?
I don't know. Well, I'll refer back to my list because my brain is like, boom, and all I can hear is my mom right now with her loving, loving wisdom, but telling me, think before you speak. Sometimes I don't. No, I said, who the hell am I?
Yeah. Yeah. And you're Stephanie. You're the co-host of the Energy is Love podcast.
Maybe you.
You're a licensed massage therapist in the state of Utah.
I'm going to get comfortable.
You're a mother. You're a wife and partner and friend and all sorts of things to this amazing man sitting across from you.
Thank you.
You're a woman.
Hear me roar?
Yes.
Roar.
You're all sorts of things, babe.
Thank you.
And you tend to bring those to the podcast. Okay. There's times where you struggle for sure, like a human, right? But oftentimes you bring yourself to the podcast.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna do better at that. So thank you.
I'm excited. I'm excited for these things that you're bringing.
I'm hoping. Right now, I've got a list, but next week I might be back to. I don't know. I get too afraid.
I keep telling you that you need to own this experience, own the fact that you do this, that this isn't just me being like, well, here I am again on the podcast, sitting down with my wife. You guys know her. Her name's Stephanie. This is you. You have brought yourself. We have been doing this together for over a year.
I'm a slow burn.
Oh, Betty, you are the sweetest slow burn. You are a slow burner.
Yeah.
In some regards. But we've been doing this for over a year now. We've done tons of episodes together.
Yeah.
We sit down week after week, and you have consistently shown up. You have consistently brought your experience and your truth and your vulnerability and your honesty. You have been willing to share some incredibly difficult fucking things on this silly show for people to listen to.
Why do you say it's a silly show?
Because that's me minimizing it. Mm-hmm. That's me thinking that it's, that's me still asking myself that same question. Who the hell am I? Right? Who the hell am I to think that this is anything other than just a silly show where I'm sitting in, our bedroom talking to my wife and pretending that people out there are listening. But it's not a silly show. It's a good podcast.
It's a good podcast.
It's a good podcast. And I want more people to listen because I think you and I have a lot to share. And it sounds like you're going to be bringing a lot more.
Well, get ready. Here it
to
comes.
Share. Yeah. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm sitting down.
Oh, I didn't mean right now. I got to go take a nap.
Take a nap.
Oh,
What was that?
I thought the cat just walked by me and there's nothing there. So.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and now my toes, because we're sitting on the edge of the bed and my toes are pointing towards under the bed and they're actually starting to hurt. I'm like, gotta lift up my feet.
This woman of mine is so easy to scare.
I just scared myself. That's impressive. So yeah. So I do have things, but I'm going to try really hard not to go through the list. I may tell a funny story. A funny true story.
You have a funny story.
I may
that
tell
you've
it
been
at the
teasing
end.
me.
I may tell it at the end.
You want to save it for the end?
Well, if I do right now, you're not I don't know, podcast out.
Okay, we'll save it for the end.
Yeah.
I'll make sure and remind you.
All right. Doesn't mean it'll come out, but I will try to.
There's so many things like dive into your weakness to find your strength. That's on my list.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good reminder. Men, even though we can eliminate men and just put people can't handle power until they have made journeys of powerlessness. And I don't exactly agree with all the verbiage in that, but I think there's some things that hold some truth there and some weight.
Like what?
Like, I think you're on a journey of powerlessness right now in the sense of everything from the outside, meaning as I look at you and where you're at, and what you're going through. I feel like everything is driving you towards one inevitable outcome.
Oh, God. I'm a little pessimistic right now. What is that inevitable outcome?
I believe that the one inevitable, I want to keep saying that word.
I do not like the word inevitable because it always has a negative connotation for me.
Do you know why I want to keep
Defeat is inevitable.
saying,
that's all I can hear.
I keep wanting to say that word because of the Matrix.
Oh, I was thinking
because of not Mr. Anderson, Agent Smith. Yeah. Inevitable. Anyways, I think you are being driven towards one inevitable truth, one outcome that no matter how far or how long or how much you fight and resist and try to come up with some workaround or some quick fix or some other book that's going to sit on the floor in the pile of books or whatever it is.
I'm still
I'm not judging you. I'll move over to the side so you can see my pile of books. Oh my goodness.
This is why I have self-esteem issues.
I just had a heart attack. Hold on.
No, it's
You're
staying in the
okay.
podcast too. This is how our daughter talks to us. This is the love that we receive.
We are
You look really
about
pretty.
halfway done. So absolutely you can get food. Just close our door. A little
Don't get
bit
your fingers.
slower would be nice.
She's a cat. I swear, she's such a cat.
Oh,
Don't
take
get
the dog. Take
out.
the dog.
Angel, go, baby, go.
Okay. So,
Are you feel good?
oh my gosh.
She said, I couldn't even make out. That was her saying penis.
Baby, I think everybody heard it.
I couldn't. It just sounded like air. Like, ness.
I'm glad you clarified that. No, I think you, Steph, are being driven towards one inevitable truth, one outcome.
Yeah.
One thing that the universe is simply holding space until you agree upon, and then you can move past it.
Well, I hope it's good because...
Do you want to know what it is? Or what I think it is?
Do you have the fucking answer? Yes, I want to know what it is. Let's get right to it.
Well, it's my thought. It doesn't mean it's the answer.
I'll take it. Like you said, shortcuts, workarounds. Let's just get to it.
Exactly.
I will
think
race
the
car
thing
it.
that the universe is simply sitting there waiting for you to do.
Yes, is...
Let go.
Fuck. No, I can't do that one. I can't do that one.
Yeah. I think
told
that's
you
what
why.
it's doing.
I told you why. I can't do that.
That's okay. Like I said, it can take as long as it wants.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
Well, that's...
The universe has all the time in the world.
I don't.
You do, actually.
So...
And I think that's what it's doing, is it's just simply waiting for you to let go.
Well, I let go, and now I'm here, and like, as you said, all my shortcuts, invalid request. Oh my God, stupid. That was the universe just told me invalid request.
Right here, people or Stephanie can't handle power until she has made a journey of powerlessness.
Well, I have made several journeys of powerlessness.
Yes, but true powerlessness, in a sense, is the act of letting go. To where you no longer...
Surrendering.
Exactly.
Where defeat is inevitable.
No, the defeat isn't inevitable.
Yeah.
It's just, at some point, you're going to have to let go.
I know. And I'm trying, but right now it's really hard.
Yeah.
Like the more I told at the beginning, I was saying how it feels like I'm running backwards. It's like not even on a treadmill to where you're like running fast and getting nowhere kind of thing. It's not that. It's like I feel like I'm using everything I have, propelling myself forward, and all I'm doing is just getting pulled backwards. Like every step, I was determined. I told you this, like this weekend when you were doing your Everyman thing, I gave myself my own personal, like I hit that breaking point. And whenever I hit that breaking point, whenever I hit that, like things are going to change, that's where I dig in, I cut through the bullshit, and I make great progress. It happens. That's my propulsion. Am I saying it right? I don't know. I'm getting hot.
That's your
it's my zoom
propellant to go forward.
It's my zoom. It is my nitrous. Like I go. And every time I floored it and did all these things and all my reliable quick fixes, which are really hard for me to get to. Shut the fuck up. They're hard for me to get to because it's taking time away from everything and just focusing 100% on me. And that sucks to do.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do that, I get like, okay, here we go. Like I get the sunshine, here we go. And this time it didn't happen. So like it really sucks because now it's like, oh, like I am way farther back than I thought I was. And it's just like, I feel like, I kind of feel like I'm breaking inside a little bit. Like it hurts. It really, really hurts. It hurts physically and it hurts like emotionally. So I'm having a hard time. And then it's like, if I let go, right, like this is letting go. I let go. I put myself on the back burner. I guess, I don't know. Just too much, too fast. And so for me to be able to let go, I have so much work to do to get up to that point. Like I'm just too far behind. So I can't let go yet because I have not grown enough. I have not succeeded enough. I have not problem solved, and I haven't done all the shit that I got to do before I'm strong enough to let go. So not yet.
I think that's probably pretty accurate, at least in your mind, right? I like the way, as you were speaking, I'm like 100% there's people listening right now that can relate to what you're saying, Steph. 100%. That idea that I haven't done enough work yet to let go. And by letting go, I mean like, you know what I mean, right? Because you and I know each other intimately, like in the biblical sense. Pause momentarily for the sidetrack of how much sex we have. But no, letting go in the sense of like just ultimate, almost like giving up. right? Letting go into the space of like, things suck right now. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know what I'm feeling, or even just letting go into real vulnerability of this emotion is coming up inside of me, and I'm going to simply let go and allow it to be here and to be felt to its fullest extent. I'm not going to try to take just a drop or two of it. I'm going to turn that fucking, open up the floodgates of the dam and let all of that emotion come washing over me and drown me and push me down and pin me to the floor.
Ooh, just that description is
all
like,
of those things.
I'm ready to go do the dishes. Like,
Yeah.
fuck this conversation.
That's what I mean by letting go, is just really allowing yourself to receive.
To receive.
Yeah. Think of it this way. You have emotion inside of you that needs to be received.
What do you mean?
Like, you have emotion inside of you. I'll speak it slower.
This is a problem. I'm like, huh? I don't know what that means.
Somebody has sent you an emotion.
Okay, they can take it back.
And the postal worker, the mail carrier, continually tries to deliver it because it needs to be received. And you're like, nope, I'm wrong address. And they're like, it says Stephanie Salazar, Grantsville, Utah. And
Travis, take it back. I don't want it.
But you have emotion that needs to be accepted and received and allowed to flow through your body. And you aren't willing to receive it. And the way that you receive it is by letting go.
Well, you know what's frustrating about that, babe?
What?
Is it that's 100%, not 100%. That is 50% correct.
It's 186% true.
But then I have moments where I try. And there's still times that I'll find myself in the emotion. I've got out of practice because even if I'm willing to, something will happen and it'll take over. And whether I can no longer feel it and I'm trying to, or my brain will just start being like, distractions, enter. So it's not just that I won't receive it. It's just like sometimes I can't. I try so hard and I'll actually forget that I was trying to feel an emotion because next thing I know, I'm reorganizing the towel drawer. I was feeling something.
I came home from this latest weekend with Everyman, and she had a new way of folding towels in every place that we keep towels in this house. They're folded differently and stored differently now, and I like it. It's great.
See?
There was one time I came home and the dishes had all been rearranged in certain. Now we're putting dishes in a different spot, and all of it's good stuff.
You're very patient with me.
It's because I know it's inevitable, dear. You can't be stopped. You are a force like none other that I have ever met. And the power and the strength and the ability that you have is one that cannot be stopped.
I hope you're right, Craig.
I know I'm right.
Feeling pretty weak, but it's okay.
Well,
Still
you're
here.
on your bouncy chair.
I'm on my bouncy chair, which was another act of self-love. So
Yeah.
I've been killing the self-love.
You have been killing the self-love. That was a few weeks ago on whatever episode we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have been killing it. I feel like you've been doing better at the self-love than I have.
Well, let's talk about
that. I got my foam roller and periodically will roll the foam on my body.
How do?
But yeah.
What can I do to help support you in that?
There's times and moments like lately the big theme in my life has just been how relaxed I am and how peaceful I am and how so easy things are going right now in my life, right? And there's this part of me that, and I've spoken about it to you, I've shared it with you before, but there's this part of me that feels like I'm almost like taking a break. Oh? Like where it's like, not that I've given up, but it's almost like, listen, smartass. You save that shit for another episode. No, but I feel like, because recently I was like, but I just had so much peace come over me in regards to like where I'm at in life and what's going on and what's happening. And I had the overwhelming sense of like, I don't need to accomplish anything else. I don't need to feel like I need some goal in my life, or I'm striving to be a better person, or I need to heal some part of me, or I need to understand why I process emotion this way, or my traumatic experience from this point in my life is affecting this point in my life, and I need to feel it and experience it and understand it in order to go to the next level of evolution, or whatever the case may be, right? All of that stuff has been so present for me over the last 5 years. I just remembered. We're going to pause so that I don't fucking forget.
Yes.
Stephanie and I were at a, it's not important where we were today, but I had a thought of what I wanted to talk about on the podcast, and I was going to write it on my little cheat sheet notepad thingy, and then I forgot, or I didn't forget. Anyways, this is it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Complete fucking side note here.
Let's do it.
We're going off track.
Boom, boom, boom.
5 years ago, in 2015, we were married. So our anniversary is coming up.
Yes.
Shortly after our anniversary, I was fired from being a police officer.
Yes.
Both of those things happened 5 years ago. Both of those things happened within months of each other. And for whatever reason, today I made the correlation and the connection that we got married first, and then I got fired. We literally got home from our honeymoon. So Stephanie and I get married, right? We tie the knot and we jump the broom and we hop in the car and we take off and we get home from our honeymoon. And the very next day when I go back to work from getting home from our honeymoon, I was placed on admin leave and was never allowed to do my job as a police officer again.
Yeah, I've been aware of that.
I've never had awareness of that.
Oh, I have.
I think that is the absolute most beautiful, amazing thing ever. When it dawned on me today, I'm like, holy shit, that is so incredible.
Well, I have another thought of that. So tell me why it's incredible for you.
Because first off, we met when I was a police officer. That's how we met. That's what brought us together, right? And our relationship, let's just say we were doing good in the sense that we were alive and we were breathing oxygen and we were eating food. But as a police officer, I was accumulating more and more and more trauma and more and more and more disconnect and more pain as a police officer. And I think in order for us to excel, in order for us to go to the places that we've been able to go in the depths of our relationship and our connection, I had to end my career as a police officer. I could no longer be a police officer in order, not just for our marriage to work, that's not what I'm saying, but in order for you and I to then begin this journey together for the rest of our lives. One thing had to end for this thing to start. And it literally did that. It was like we get married, we come home a week later, and bam, you're done as a police officer because this isn't something that will no longer serve you. It's not something that you need anymore. It was a beautiful gift for the time period that you had it, and now it's going away, whether you want it to or not, because you are about to, and you have just begun the next phase of your life that is going to last the next 80 plus years with this amazing woman that you came across. And I think that's literally what happened, was the universe in its all infinite wisdom in brains of awesomeness decided that in that, because there's nothing more clear, right? We get married and then bam, you're fired.
Oh, believe me, I had my own theory of it.
I think that's so amazing.
Thank you
and
for
I'm
saying
so
that.
grateful. There's so many times in my head, I'm like, God, how long, because people will ask me like, how long ago were you a cop? Or, when did you leave or whatever? And I'm like, God, how long ago was it? I have a hard time remembering it. I don't think I'll ever forget it now because I kind of forgot how closely connected those things were. I forgot how the timing of all of it. And it's so not happenstance, babe. It's so not like, there's a clear fucking rhyme and reason to that thing. Because I think undoubtedly the path of hurt and pain and sadness and, further disconnect as well as like more trauma building up inside of my body was the path that I was on as a police officer. And then it was like, oh, you don't need that anymore. Instead, you're going to go on this other path with this amazing freaking woman that's going to change your life completely. Because that's what you did. You just changed everything. And it wasn't just when we got married. It was when we met. We were on a definite trajectory from that point on once we met. But then it was like 2015 was a big year. Big year.
Thank you for giving me that perspective so I can let the other one go.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Bam.
Oh, look at how that just, you can't, that was script worthy.
That was.
Damn.
When they write the movie of this
Wow.
episode.
This is a defining moment of.
You can just let that one go, babe.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. How does that what is that doing for you inside?
Oh, so happy. Like, it's
Yeah?
just a beautiful thing. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it, like, the clarity of how things have to work, right? You know, things have to work that way. Things do work that way. You know, at the time it was horrible, right? At the time it was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? What am I going to do? Who am I? What's happening? You know, it was a nightmare at the time. And it came right after our marriage.
I know.
And it was like, oh my God, it was just miserable. It was so shitty. And it took years to come out of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now 5 years later, you know, hindsight's 2020.
Oh, it's 2020.
Oh,
Shit, there it goes again.
But yeah, just being able to look back and be like, oh yeah, that's why that happened. And this is why we're here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the spot that you're in, dear, there's a rhyme and reason to it. You know that.
Yeah. Do I have to wait 5 years?
Shit takes a long time.
Well, I feel like maybe I'm on the 5th year right now.
You very well could be.
So.
I had I was thinking too, because tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
It's today, actually.
It's next week. Tomorrow I'm getting on a plane again and I'm
Yes.
flying somewhere far away. And I'm going to have a lot of time to listen to podcasts. I was going to go back and listen to the very first time that you and I were on together. So the very first episode that you did,
Oh.
just to see how different we are and to see how much we've changed since
That's
then.
a good idea.
Isn't that fun?
Oh, man.
I don't remember what episode it is though, or was.
23.
Was it?
I think. I don't know, because I like the number 23. I know. I had 88
That sounds
too.
about right. Well, you're definitely on 88.
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
Say it's 23. Say it's 23.
You're on episode 20.
God damn it.
I think that was it. I think that was the first.
Well, that's still pretty cool.
Yeah. Episode 20 is
but not
good.
23? Hold on. Who's got my 23 number?
Okay, so everybody has a homework assignment, and they're supposed to go listen to
Not me.
episode 20 of the first time Stephanie was on the podcast. It was released on July 12th, 2016, which was coming up on
Oh, my God.
4 fucking years ago.
I don't know if I want to hear that.
I'm going to read.
Oh, no.
Should I read it or should we just let them read it? We'll just let them read it. That's cute. I'm going to listen to that. I'm downloading it right now so I can
you
listen to it on the
download it.
plane. But yeah, we're different people, babe.
My jaw is like seizing up right now.
So tight with smiles or tension?
I think it's fear. I'm like,
Are you going to go listen to it?
Well, I thought so, and I probably will, just so I can keep the conversation with you. But I'm experiencing an emotion right now.
It's a good thing you're
I'm
sitting
not sure
down.
what it is, but it's a definite emotion. Wow.
You are blushing a little bit.
Am I? I feel like it.
Are you
I don't know.
experiencing one of the 5?
I don't know which one it is. I've got here. You tell me, okay, Mr. Emotion Man.
Yeah.
My jaw is super tight in my hinge. It's like hard in my hinge, and I feel like my eyebrows are about to shoot off of my head.
Okay.
And I'm like, ugh. So what emotion is this? What's happening? Is this panic? This might be panic. Is panic an emotion?
Fear?
I'm thinking this is panic.
Fear.
Yeah.
Fear would be the base root emotion, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I happen to think that most things either come from fear or love. So, okay, fear it is.
Most things?
Now I'm awkward. Yeah. I think you.
Light or dark?
I think maybe.
Black or white? Yin
No,
or
I'm not
yang?
trying to.
I did it just for you.
Oh.
I
Yeah.
usually don't like yang.
I know.
I'm a fan of yin and yang because it's correct, but
I don't know that's your country twang. Yeah. So I that helps. Sometimes I forget a lot, but when I remember to think that how people are behaving around It's easier to separate. Do I have an echo now?
No.
It's easier to,
Echo.
because like there's that whole like nothing's about you, right? Don't take anything personal. How people are behaving
In
or
regards
actions
to
have
other
nothing
people.
to do with you.
Like your whole life's about you. It's
Kind
the
of
Steph show.
kind of thing. Well, there we go.
But yeah, how
still,
people respond and react.
But how people act around you and people that are in your life, it absolutely affects you. And to sit there and say that it has nothing to do with you, well, it may not have anything to do with you. They've completely forgotten to include the fact that you are still affected by it. And to say, well, you shouldn't be affected by it. If you were a better energetic person, if you were more connect with the universe, you wouldn't be like, fuck off. Like, you're going to feel things. That's people. We feel things, right? So when you get in that and it hurts, to try and have compassion for the other person, which can be really hard because then you get lost in the story, you get lost in the chaos, and this happens. And instead of something that you're experiencing, it then turns into something that happened to you when you had nothing to do with it. So how to help with that, found that if you think of people coming from one of two places, they are either acting out of love or acting out of fear. Then it breaks it down in a simplified thing where, yes, you are still affected by it. Yes, you still have your own processing that has to happen now. But in turn, how you are acting in that moment is also out of love and out of fear. But it helps kind of break down the separation from that person. It helps break down this happening to me to this thing has just happened. And it helps you, like if you look at somebody and you see they were scared and this is how they behaved, or they had love for this or this person or this situation, so this is the choice that they made, then it becomes less of a, I don't know what words to use. It's just easier to understand. And it doesn't mean you agree with the action. You don't have to agree. I think we talked about that earlier. You don't have to agree with it and take it on, but understanding is a different thing. I don't know. I feel dumb now. I feel like you're looking at me like lost. Did I go too far on a tangent?
No, not at all. I mean, it's kind of like that thing where giving the person the benefit of the doubt that everybody's doing the best that they can.
Exactly that. But I forget all the goddamn time to do it. I forget that people are doing the best they can. I forget to look at that they're out of love or fear. I forget. And it takes a while for me to be like, oh yeah.
You asked
That's
this
so hard.
this morning where you were like, how come you never forget anything? And I mean, clearly I forget shit all the time.
Never forgets to do anything. I forget to do everything.
I forget stuff all the time.
Like what?
I forgot the thing that I couldn't remember I wanted to write down until
you
it came
remembered
back
it.
to me.
And you wanted to talk about it during this
I forgot
podcast.
to start coffee before I left this morning to run errands. Right? That was on my to-do list in my head and I spaced it. What I find, leads right into why I'm bringing this up. I think the reason you're forgetting things is because you have too much in your head right now.
Yeah.
It's just a bandwidth issue where
I need some more memory. I need a bigger hard drive.
So look at it this way, rather than a hard drive or a memory, here's another little beautiful metaphor or a vision for you to look at. You have a work desk, right? And it looks however you want. Like yours is probably made out of natural wood and it's got some carvings on it and it's got like vines growing up the legs of it. And you can feel it. It's not like laminate and
smell it.
epoxied over. You can feel the nature of your desk itself. And in the middle of it is probably this big, beautiful heart that's been burned into it in such a beautiful way. And it's got all sorts of awesome things on it, right? So that's your desk. And let's think
Can that be my desk?
Yeah, I'll make it for you.
Let's manifest that.
So think of your desk as like your workspace.
Okay.
And your workspace is what you use as you move through life. It's not your life. It's just your space that you use to work through your life. It's your workspace.
Yeah, I like it.
And your workspace can be cluttered up with whatever you choose to. You can put whatever you want on your desk. It's yours. It's your workspace. It's up to you what you decide to put and use and what you routinely keep on your work desk. Mine has a cup of coffee and a jug of water. That's not all it has, but that's an example of two things that I like to keep on my work desk because I use those on a regular basis, right?
Yeah.
So I think what's happened is your work desk is just overflowing with stuff,
It's probably.
right? Like I ask you right now, where are all the receipts for your business?
Most of them are in the accordion folder, but I have some that are on the dryer
And some on the printer and some on the
Just-
stool
no,
and
not on the
some of
stool.
the floor
No,
and
that's not
probably
true.
some in a purse
Probably
or some
some
in
in
a
a purse.
wallet.
Okay, are we just making fun of me here because I'm starting to feel attacked?
I'm just using it as the metaphor. The
Okay.
example of why you can't remember things is because your work desk is too cluttered.
I need a bigger work desk.
But you don't get one
Why not?
because that's not the way it works.
Says who?
Well,
Maybe I just need 2 work desks.
I talked to the work desk guy. He said, nope. That's the one she wanted. That's the one we gave her.
Can I borrow some of yours?
You can definitely borrow some of my
no.
workspace.
No way.
But I think that's why we have a hard time remembering things, because our brain is just too cluttered with the stuff that we're processing and going through. So it's not, the game isn't how can I declutter my work desk? That will happen naturally as you start to do some more work. But it's just the realization of, oh, that's why this is happening right now, is because I have too many other things on my plate or too many other things that are taking up too much bandwidth.
I think it's more than that. I think I had everything neatly organized on my desk, and I had everything where I knew where it was, and you may not, but I could go to like this pile and know where it is. It's when you like start to put everything in its little perfect little things that everything gets lost. But I think something happened. I think somebody came in and shifted my papers, and like reality took a big shit on my work desk.
2020 maybe? New decade?
New decade.
Maybe that's what happened.
Maybe it's because I no longer need that, so it's covered in shit, so I can throw it away.
Yeah, there's probably lots of stuff on your desk right now that you don't need.
You're right.
Lots of stuff that is no longer useful. It was definitely beneficial in 2012.
Ooh. That hit me in my...
Not good? Or?
No, that was that gave me some release.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it absolutely was beneficial. It's not saying that this wasn't beneficial. This didn't have a purpose. You absolutely needed it. Then.
Exactly.
Oh, you're going to make me cry. That feels good. It feels like it's still being valued as the important thing that it was.
Yeah, it had a time and a place and a purpose.
Wow, I just breathed into my belly.
Oh.
Holy cow, that was good.
That's so wonderful.
Thank you, Yoda.
Yeah.
That
I'm
was
definitely
really
not
good.
Yoda.
You're way better.
No, I am a badass Jedi. I don't know. I mean, Yoda's a good Jedi, right? But I'm the kind of frickin' Obi-Wan Kenobi, but Ewan
Yoda
McGregor,
isn't-
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Sexy.
Like I
young.
said, Yoda's not giving anybody orgasms, and you are magical.
Okay, so we have to pause momentarily so everybody can get the image of Yoda giving people orgasms out of their brain.
You.
Orgasm, you will.
Yes. Oh, that's funny.
So what's the first thing that pops to your mind that's on your desk that you no longer need?
I don't know.
Close your eyes.
I'm getting a visual, but it's not one that I know what to do with.
It's overwhelming, right?
I'm just taking my hand, my arm, and I can't throw everything away. But that first visual I had was I was just taking my arm and just clearing everything off, just
I love that.
But then what the fuck am I doing? No.
It didn't go anywhere. You didn't throw it away. It just fell on the floor, babe.
Well, then I have to pick it up off on the floor, and I'm just going to put it back on the desk.
But you get to then go through it. You then get to pick it up and look at it and be like, oh, what the hell is this Post-it note for? It says fart twice and blink 3 times. I don't remember what that Post-it note was about.
I'm going to try. Next time I have a toot, I'm going to blink 3 times and see what happens.
You can throw that Post-it note away now.
Quick, babe, make me some more broccoli.
But that's the process.
Yeah.
Clear off that beautiful desk of yours so that you can see it again. See how beautiful it is. See the little scars on it, the little marks, the scribbles. That desk is yours. You've had it your whole life, and it's where you've done all of your work. It's a part of you.
I think I'm starting to kind of there's certain areas, if you can look, there's certain areas that are becoming that in the house. It's just little by little.
I see that.
I'm trying to like, and it's not the stuff and tuck, and it's just kind of like the
Stuff and tuck.
like it's every. Okay.
See, your euphemisms just roll off the tongue. I gave her the good old stuff and tuck. She was asking for it.
I just hit my mouth on the mic again.
Come here, baby. I got a stuff and tuck for you.
Oh my God. Nutritional value.
I don't even know what a stuff and tuck is, but I love it.
Do you want me to explain it? Or
Nope,
do you just
it's
want
the
to
name
sit
of this
with her?
episode now.
Stuff and tuck. All
It's the
right.
good old stuff and tuck.
All right. Oh God.
But anyways, yes, I agree.
That's
I
great.
think there's plenty of little areas in our house right now where you're doing that. So you started
Clearing
the
out the
process
shit.
like in the
Don't
real, sense of the word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, metaphorically, clean all that shit off the desk. Just go
I know.
pick it up from one end and just watch it all slide down, and then put the desk back down. And then just take a minute.
There's part of me that really doesn't want to go through it though. I just want to have it just disappear.
Oh, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Fuck yeah.
I don't know. I am not strong enough
I
because if
guarantee
it just
you
goes
are.
away, I can handle that. But if I have to like put it, then I'm going to see what it is. And I'm like, oh wait, that can't go. That can't go. Like this goes to, like we can go back to a couple episodes with I'm going to have to start giving a lot of presents. If I wrap shit up, I can get rid of it. So I just got to start giving presents.
So I think if you were to clear your desk off and not take the time to go through everything that was on there,
Yeah.
you would realize that you have a massive skill set for life right now.
Yeah. What?
I think
Okay.
so. I think if you would look at a bare desk and be like, my workspace is clean. I have the opportunity now to bring the skill set that I have in 2020, right now, today, at this point in my life, to a clean working space. What do I want to do with it?
Okay.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be really hard. It might fuck me up.
It's okay, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to pick. All right. Let's see what happens.
I like it.
It's an adventure.
It is an adventure. What are we going to do? It's a mystery.
Yep. My favorite line. Love it.
Okay, babe. Close us out.
Close this out.
Tell us your story.
Oh, God. It does not fit with the context
okay.
of this episode at all.
We can't forget it.
If I tell you, why are you laughing?
Because you like,
If I tell you, I told you this before, like you might not be able to, when I was teasing about maybe talking about it, that you would not be able to look at me the same. I'm forever going to be changed in your mind. And not only that, but like I had to text Janelle what happened. So if that gives you an idea.
Goodness. Let's hear it. This is going to be a good one, folks.
It's the guys aren't going to be able to handle it. Like you're going to lose male listeners.
That's okay.
But the women are going to be like, oh my God. It is. It's TMI. It's up close and personal, literally. So are you sure?
I'm ready.
I don't know if I can do it.
I'm here. I'm here and I'm in.
It's also embarrassing. It's also really embarrassing. It's like really fucking embarrassing.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Are you sure?
I got a big smile.
Okay. So I am trying to make things in my life just a little more easy. So like convenience. I'm trying with convenience on some things. Some things so I'm just going to have to like jump in. It's like running for the cliff and just jump. Because otherwise I'm never going to
Get it out.
So I purchased some, I'm rubbing my hands because you have to rub it to get it warm.
what she said.
She did. Some self-adhesive, like pre-wax strips. Some already like pre-wax strips. So
okay.
wax strips that are already
Ready to go.
You just gotta rub them together.
Got it.
And like they're big. They're for your legs,
I
right?
love where this is
and
going.
you just gotta peel them apart and you gotta stick it on and rub it and then you pull it off.
Yep.
Okay, so this is going to be quick and easy.
Yep.
So I don't wax my legs.
Oh, God.
So I am a dark-haired woman, and every dark-haired woman understands what that means.
Woman.
Woman. Okay. So to make it convenient and easy, I've got these strips, right? And There's some areas that you can't take some clippers to. So to make it fast and easy, I've got these strips. I'm also time consuming because you're coming home.
You're also saving time.
I'm saving time. Yes. Time consuming but time consuming is what happened.
Yes.
So I meant to save time, but it took time because I'm getting ready. It's the, you're getting home. I'm going to be all shaved and all ready. And we're going to have, it's not that you don't demand that by any means. You're totally fine with whatever, but I feel more sexy, which means I do more freaky things when I feel ready. So, this was step one of the getting ready for our sexcapades. And, time consuming. I'm saying it again. So I back up to the mirror. I bend over and I'm looking at my ass between my legs.
Oh my God.
And I stick that baby on. Good to go, right?
Oh.
And it's like the angles. It's weird. Are you okay over there?
I'm totally fine, baby.
Okay. It's okay. Just remember, I do this for you because I can't see there. Only you can. So this is for your benefit. Keep that in mind. That's how much I love you. And trying to getting it on is one thing, but at one point I'm like, oh my God, that's right on my asshole. Like, I hope I don't rip that off. So I'm pulling it off is different. So, but I get it. I accomplished this goal. It's not comfortable. I'm doing this with blood rushing to my head because I'm in a forward bend in front of a mirror. And then I stand up, ready to go get in the shower, shave my legs, walking in the bathroom. And I'm just like, oh man. I was like, that was, and I still gotta trim the rest, do the things. And I don't even remember. I think I told Janelle it was a tissue on the floor because I don't remember what it was, but there was something on the floor. So I kneel down real quick just to go pick it up. She's like, whoop, pick it up, right? And there was a sensation of pain where I realized that my cheeks were glued together.
Oh God.
So all of a sudden it was like whoosh, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? So I'm kneeling in front of your sink with oh my God. And I'm looking at the shower that is way over there thinking, how am I going to get in that? So I'm going to try and duck walk to keep but my knees hurt. So I had to stand back up. I get over there and I'll let the hot water and try and oh my God. So self-adhesive wax strips do not it. There was some leftovers and it was an event. So I was like, those will turn your ass into a Venus flytrap. So that's what happened. I glued my ass together trying to look pretty for you.
Oh
so.
God. That's
all right.
You're welcome, folks. And
do you still find me attractive?
Oh God, I still find you more than attractive. Okay. You're amazing. I love you so much, baby.
I love you. I feel like I just found a fidget spinner for my ass. Digging into stuff makes me feel like I'm running backwards, and that sucks.
I think you are being driven towards one inevitable truth. We have to share a part of us with all of them.
I'm a slow burn.